Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin with a developing story in BC's capital tonight. Victoria MLA and Cabinet Minister Grace Lohr announcing today she's stepping away from her job after being diagnosed with cancer. For more on this story, let's bring in Rob Shaw at the BC Legislature. Rob, what can you tell us about this?
Well, April, some sad news here for Grace Lohr, who said she is grappling with the sudden diagnosis of colorectal cancer and is temporarily stepping back as Minister of Children and Family Development to undergo treatment. Now, Lohr was first elected in Victoria Beacon Hill in 2020. After working as a professor at the University of Victoria, she went on to become Minister of State for Childcare in 2022 and then the Children's Minister earlier this year, a portfolio she held on to after winning her riding again up against BC Green leader Sonia Furstenau in the last election. In a statement today, Lohr saying that the cancer diagnosis last month was sudden, but that this file is so important and requires the full attention of someone to make the changes we need because kids need us to get it right. By stepping back, I will be able to focus solely on my treatment and recovery so I can get back to doing this work as soon as possible. It is not the first time that the Lohr family has faced a health emergency in the public eye. Shortly after being elected in 2020, her then 4-year-old son Asher was diagnosed with a brain tumor behind his eye, and she and her husband Rob, their daughter Eve, navigated that treatment. Asher is happy and healthy today. Her NDP colleagues hoping that she can do that again. Here is the Premier today.
This is obviously a really hard time for Grace and her family. This is very fresh. Her husband, Rob, and their two beautiful kids who just found out in the last 24 hours that their mom is quite ill. Certainly the family appreciates the well wishes of British Columbians and appreciates too that they have a little bit of time to process and figure out their path forward. All of us here at the legislature, we know Grace. She is strong, she is a fighter, and she's going to take this on just as she's taken on some of the most challenging issues she's had to face.
Lohr today says that she will continue to try and vote for the NDP government during her treatment, which is important because the NDP has a 1-seat majority. So any MLA who has to recuse themselves for any reason puts the stability of the government at risk. There is the ability for MLAs to vote remotely in the chamber, a technology that's put in place since COVID. And the Premier says he expects to lock down the Greens at some point for a deal, or he hopes to, which would give the NDP the buffer, April, to allow Grace Lohr and her family to focus on her health without having to worry about the stability of the government at the same time.